here. We'll have a mic runner that'll run mics and go forward from there. So let me just kind of, to start off with, we're talking about a live listing presentation. A live listing presentation. So how many people out there have an agenda for your listing presentation every single time when you walk into the house?
Yeah.
All right, so
Lights off.
let's make maybe 50% of you. The other 50% of you are doing what I call the Levi pilot. You're flying by the seat of your pants, right? And so as you're going out there, here's what we're going to do. We're going to give you that duplicatable listing presentation so that when you get to the point where you're ready to hire a listing specialist, you have something to train them to be you. To be you. Now, as we're going through this, what are sellers looking for? Let's talk about what are sellers looking for in today's market. So you can see that they said 23% of sellers are looking for an agent that will market their homes to buyers. Where did I get that number? I got that number from the profile of home buyers and sellers that the National Association of Realtors puts out every single year. 23% are looking for the agent that's going to market their home. 21% of sellers are looking for an agent to sell their house within a specific time frame. A specific time frame. All right, let's come on down to the next one. 19% of sellers are looking for help to price their home correctly. They're looking to make sure that they get their home priced correctly. All right, and so now that you know what sellers are looking for as you're going out there, now is the next opportunity. How do we serve that to them? How do we give that to them? How do we make them feel like we are the right people to do that? And so I always say, before we get started, I always like to say that, you know, they allow me to travel around the country and teach people and coach bold because I give you hope. Right? You're like, if that dude can do it, I know I can, right? And so you know, that's the thing is that we're all here to learn, and including me. And I've learned as I've even gone through this process, you know, preparing to present to 1,500 people, and plus the live stream as well for all the people that are back at home in the market centers watching today as well. And so the goal is that we're gonna give you something that you can take back and put into practice tomorrow. Except for those people in Minnesota, you're not getting home tomorrow. Just saying, right? It started snowing. So what do these two guys have in common? Just shout it out. What do you think? They know their scripts. Well, I'm not going to go that route. Yeah, they do know their scripts. See, both of them know their scripts, and they're really good at them. To the point where they're the number one and the number two highest paid actors last year. Yeah, right? So, because they know their scripts. See, Mark Wahlberg, he made $68 million. Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson, by knowing his scripts, made $65 million. See, people that use scripts make great money. Make great money. When you use scripts, you make great money. Does that make sense? So here's what I'm going to suggest. As we go through this, when we start looking at this, what makes a great actor? What makes a great actor? Someone that makes a tremendous amount of money when they're out there doing their scripts. So what makes a great actor is they've got three parts. We've got the body language, right? Can you imagine an actor that just stood there? Kevin Hart, here, right? Yeah, right? And so the tonality. What about an actor that just stood there and said, Bueller, Bueller? Has anyone seen Ferris Bueller? Right? That guy became a cult icon, and yet we probably are not going to make a lot of money in real estate if we do that. And so the next piece is words. Now we know that 7% of what we say is words. 7% of the way that we communicate is the words that we use. Tonality, 38%. 38% of the way that we communicate. Imagine if I just stood up here and I said, welcome to Keller Williams Family Reunion. And I didn't move. I didn't have any body language. I didn't have any tonality. Like, as soon as I started, like half of the room would have got, right? You're like, can I fit through these little doors, right? And so, next is the body language. You've got to engage them in body language. And so as we're doing this listing presentation today, that's really what my intention is for you to get across. Watch the body language. Watch the little cues that we do during the body language as I mirror and match my sellers. Now, what makes a great listing agent? The same thing as a great actor. Body language, tonality, and the words that you use. So let's look at this. The body language. Where are my previous bold graduates in the room? Raise your hands. That's not how a bold graduate raises their hand. There we go. Right? I was like, man, who's your bold coach, right? All right. And so here's the thing: as you're looking at 7% is words, 38 tonality, and 55% is the actual body language. So when you're in a listing presentation, you get to use all three of those. Would you agree? Say yes. There you go. Are you using all three of those? When you're in the listing presentation, are you purposeful with all three of those? Or are you by default with all three of them? Right? There's a difference. There's a different energy around default body language than purposeful body language. One connects, one doesn't. Right? One connects with people and the other one doesn't. It may even be repelling people. See, Diana Kokoska says we all walk into an appointment with a 10 over our head. And we walk in with that 10 over our head. We are the ones that make the decision whether that 10 is still there when we walk out of the house. Because see, if they think we start saying things and we start doing things and we start not watching our body language as we're doing this, what ends up happening at that point is that number starts ticking down. It goes to a 9, and it goes down to an 8, and it goes down to a 7. And you're not walking out with a listing. And you're like, man, it was great. And yet they say, I got other agents to interview. All right? So now as we come through, we got this. That equals a word called congruency. The being. Right? Are you being a great listing agent? When you're in the house, are you being? Or are you just kind of playing it by ear? Being the Levi pilot when you're on stage? Because ladies and gentlemen, this table, the kitchen table where you're sitting at, that's your stage. That's your stage. Gary Keller says, you know, are you practicing off stage and this is the time where you get to play? Are you playing or are you practicing at the table? Because this should be the time where you start to have fun. Right? I'm here to tell you, there may be, I might even mess up while we're doing this. Right? And yet here's the cool part. You get to watch me recover. Because if you ever messed up in a listing presentation, man, none of y'all messed up? Maybe y'all come up here, right? Yeah, y'all just come here and do it. Because I'm here to tell you, there's been times where I've messed up in a listing presentation. And so at that point, if I mess up today, you'll see me recover. You'll see me recover. So the definition of congruency. The definition of congruency. And I really am, you know, I'm not just, when I sit down and they ask me to do this, I said yes before they told me what the content was. And so, you know, like, oh yeah, and the room size 1,500 people, and oh, by the way, it's live streamed too. And I already committed. And yet, here's the thing, the definition of congruency is everything in agreement with harmony. When you walk in and you don't feel comfortable, are you in agreement with harmony? Is your body language going to say you're not in agreement with harmony? Absolutely. Right? When you walk into that listing and it's $1 million listing and you've never sold $1 million listing, do you have congruency? Well, if you don't, you got to learn how to act it. You got to learn how to act it. And you got to be actors sometimes. Right? Because here's the thing. How many people have ever heard of Johnny Depp? Right? Now, he may have been one of the highest paid actors and still broke, yet that's his fault. And yet he still has the ability to earn the money because when he goes into Captain Jack Sparrow, there's no shaking him. He's got congruency around that character. Do you have congruency around being a great listing specialist? Or are you flying by the seat of your pants and being a Levi pilot? There is a difference. So does your audio match your video, or does your video match your audio? Oh man, I'm a great listing agent, I take everything. Well then, does your video match that? Are you actually walking out with signed listing agreements? Are you asking lots of questions? Because great salespeople do what? They ask a lot of, yeah. Now here's the thing. The day is not over. So the energy that you give me back is the energy I'm going to give you back as well. So does a great agent, a great listing specialist, does their audio need to match their video? Say yes. There we go. That was awesome. That was awesome. So notice here's some things as we're going to notice during the presentation. I'm mirror and matching. Right? Well, let me ask you a question. What if one of your sellers is leaning in and the other one's leaning back? What do you do? By that point, hopefully you know who the decision maker is and you start mirror matching the decision maker. Right? You start mirror matching the decision maker. Right, come on down to the next one. Are you affirming the sellers? I'm so glad you brought that up. That's a great question. As we teach in Bold, we know that, everybody desires two things: to look good and be right. And they love these three words. You are right. How many times have you ever gone into a listing presentation, you started talking to someone, and your price was $300,000 and their price was $320,000, and y'all start fighting over it. Start arguing with them. Right? As soon as you start arguing with them, what happens? Immediately they go on the defensive, you go on the defensive, and you start repelling each other, and you walk out without the listing agreement. And then you go, they wouldn't take my price. Right? Can't believe that. And then all of a sudden you see somebody come into the office and they put it on the market, and they put it on the market at the exact same price that you said it should sell for. Why is that? Because you went into defensive mode and they didn't. They just kept asking questions. Just kept asking questions. What about $320,000 is important to you? Right? You gotta ask questions. Right? And so stay on those questions. Next thing, body language. Watch your body language. Watch our body language up here. Okay? Watch your tonality. Everybody has a huge empathy button right here on your chest. Everybody touch your chest right here. There's a huge empathy button. For those of you that live in the South, you say 3 words when you touch your chest and push this empathy button. His heart. It's called bless your heart. Right? And yet when you go to touch your chest and you say bless your heart, it's not a term of endearment. Yeah, I've actually heard people that have just moved to the South and they're like, oh, that's so sweet. Right? That was not meant to be sweet. Right? And yet because you touched your chest, you started bleeding empathy and they thought that you felt for them. Now I'm not asking you to be disingenuous. Because when you walk through that door, your number one goal is to help them get their home sold. And if you walk out of that house without that listing agreement signed, you may have just cost that agent, or you may have just cost that seller $20,000, $30,000, $40,000. And so I'm asking you to make sure that you use the tools to do the best thing for the seller. Does that make sense? Yeah. See, if you go in there, Diana Kokoska, the CEO of Maps Coaching, she just taught a class on being authentic for everybody that was at Roar yesterday. You heard her talking about a class that was being authentic. Do you truly desire to help the sellers? Do you know where they're going? Do you know why they're moving? Or are you on the way there? Are you texting and driving on your calculator to figure out your commission if you sold? Just saying. Right? So as we're going through this, we're going to ask you, what else? What else did you see as we were going through this? Right? What else did you see as we were going through this? And we'll have mic runners, and so we'll ask questions. Because our goal is that we're all going to learn together today. Right? We're all